she is crying because she felt that she made this happen, that she did this to Dad. And I'm like, Jessica, it's not you. Hate when my kids are in pain. You know, I still have a mom, but it's really difficult this time. She's got dementia.
What was the triggers that happened while you were a police officer?
I was responding to a call to back up a police officer, flying down the gravel roads. I lost control. Wintertime, I hit the ditch. My truck flipped 3 times. One of the instances that really hit me hard was a 19-year-old girl, flatbed tractor trailer, slammed on her brakes, her head hit and popped like a cantaloupe. I remember one time a Nomad got hit head on by a drunk driver, but the crash was so violent, him and the 2 dogs melded into one.
Take it back to the collapse. What did that moment feel like?
I literally collapsed to the floor, crying and shaking. Just my brain shut off. I don't remember a whole bunch. I studied at home, but it gave me a sense of purpose. It helped me heal. The RCMP came back to me. You know, we admit you're sick. You'll never be a road cop again. You can never be on the field. My world is collapsing.
Yeah. What did like a dark day look like for you?
Heavily medicated, suicidal thoughts. I'm seeing other RCMP officers killing themselves.
Why was the badge so important to you?
My dad always wanted me to be a police officer. I loved serving the public, serving the people. Shortly before all that happened, my dad died.
Would you ever say that PTSD is a weakness?
For those who took their lives, it exposed the weakness.
Did you feel like you failed your family when all of this was going on? Hey everyone, David Kurz here. And if you're watching this, I want to thank you for being a part of Forged Into Man. You know, a lot of people that watch this show aren't subscribed yet, and your support truly matters. When you subscribe, like, and share these conversations, it helps us bring more powerful stories to the table, create more episodes, and keep the movement going. So if this conversation has impacted you, hit that subscribe button. It helps us more than you know. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to Forged Into Man, the show built on one truth. The fire doesn't destroy the man, it defines him. Forged by pain, tempered by faith, and built for purpose. This platform exposes what so many men hide. Not the trophies, not the highlight reels, but the trauma, the pressure, and the identity shifts. And the rebirth that only happens through fire. Our signature mantra says it best. Pain reveals you, pressure builds you, purpose defines you. And today's guest is a living example of that transformation. Born in a small Canadian town called Porcupine Plain, raised on a farm, raised with grit, raised on discipline. David Kadun learned early responsibility. Sports shaped him, isolation shaped him, the service shaped him. But nothing could prepare him for the fire that hit him at age 34. PTSD didn't knock, it kicked in the door. It took his career as a Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer. It crushed his confidence, it isolated him from the world, and it pushed him into one of the darkest battles a man can face. Yet here he is, not because the fire spared him, but because he walked through it. He rebuilt from nothing. He retained his mind. He fought for his family, and he built a new identity, a new life, and a new level of purpose. Today, David is a husband, a father, and a businessman, a leader who lives with transparency and courage. He shares his battle openly, not for sympathy, but because he refuses to let another man drown in silence. Dave, man, it's an honor to have you on the show. I really appreciate you being a part of Forged Into Man.
Wow, that hearing someone else talk about that really hits you, because you know I share my story, but how you put that out there really, wow.
I appreciate that. I hope that the rest of the interview goes just like that, man. Yeah. So I want to take you, I explained to you a little bit earlier that we break down the show. We break it down. We want to know about the fire. We want to know what forged you to become the man that you are and what message you have for people. And so we're just going to take it step by step and go through this and, let the interview go where it goes, if you will.
Open book.
Let's do it. I'm awesome. So I have some notes here. Porcupine Plain. Talk to me about that. What was childhood like? What was it like growing up there? What's it like growing up in a small farm town in Canada, right?
Well, I grew up there, right? A town of 800 people at the time. I thought it was big. we'd go to the city of Saskatoon, which was at the time about 250,000 people, which seemed like the really big city, not realizing really how big the world is. So, you'd mentioned earlier about isolation, and yeah, I look back at it now and it was almost like isolation.
Yeah.
No internet, nothing like that. We lived in a small little bubble.
It's interesting. I've spoken to a lot of people, and it's when people are not well traveled early on, oftentimes their bubble is the same bubble. Like for you, it was a very small town of 800 people. For me, it was the big borough of the Bronx in New York. Never really went anywhere else, so I didn't know what the rest of the world looked like, right? So that was my bubble, and way more than 800. I think there was 800 people on my block.
Yeah.
But what an interesting idea. Now that you say that out loud, I'm able to correlate it to myself and other conversations that we've had with people they grow up in that one space and that's where they are and that's what they do,
Well, yeah, and that's exactly it. Like, we go where you grew up, where I grew up, literally two completely different worlds.
Right.
And then most recently, I've traveled overseas and I've experienced large cities, Tokyo, Japan, for example. The population of that one city is almost the entire population of my entire country.
Yeah.
So it's broadening horizons. So yeah, coming from small town to where I am today, never would have seen myself here.
That's awesome. And as an only child with a few kids around, right? Like you had a few friends, I'm assuming.
Absolutely, yeah.
The neighborhood, right? But you were an only child growing up. What was that like? Like, how did that shape you as a boy?
I had to do everything on my own. So for me, it was, if nobody else did it, it was up to me.
Right.
So chores around the farm, the yard, whatever it was me. No brothers, no sisters. It was 100% only me. So I have no problem being on my own, going out, talking to people on my own, even though I am an introvert, but I will go and deal with everything on my own. So even having a real estate team, sometimes I struggle handing off duties to them.
Do you really consider yourself an introvert? Like considering that part of your entire life and job and, you have a team and you speak to hundreds of clients and you're in front of people all the time.
I am, but for me just to go up to someone and just start talking to them, honestly, usually it's hard unless I know there's some type of commonality.
Right.
I know other people can talk to anybody about anything and they go to town, right? But not me. And I know you just brought it up from what you know of me. But yeah, I'm literally, I am an introvert. I can go to a place, sit down and just be by myself and not worry about anything.
Not worry about a thing.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to come back to that because there's some thoughts that I have with that, and I want to come back to it later, maybe in our next section, if you will.
Sure.
But let's get back to being a boy on the farm. What you mentioned, like farm work and chores and things like that. What was that like?
So my dad was what I call a hobby farmer. So we
Okay.
didn't have any animals.
Okay.
But he had a couple quarters of section of land. He would farm grain just for fun. He owned a bulk fuel station and then became a truck driver as well. So for me, it was basically just mowing the grass, hauling wood, because we had a wood burning fireplace or stove for the winter. Those types of chores, not huge, other than just, cats, rabbits,
Right.
dogs, those types of things. Those were the kind of chores that I had. So nothing like many other kids had with a full-sized farm. But my parents always encouraged me to be involved in sports. So whether winter playing hockey, fall was football, spring and summer was baseball.
Yeah.
So I was always doing something.
What are the you did a lot of sports. Your parents really encouraged that for you. And now you even you're a referee.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think sports helped shape you as a young man and now as an adult? Because you're still involved, you're still out there doing referee work. Like, how do you feel that sports may have shaped you in your childhood? How important is that?
Being in contact with people. So again, being an only child, on the farm 12 miles out of town, where I only came to town for school and really for sports. Now, small town, everybody I played sports with, I went to school with.
Yeah.
But it was a social aspect. So for me, being social with sports was where I grew. And I kept that throughout my life. I've always been involved in sports some way. That's not only my fun time, it's my relaxing time as well. And that's where I connect with people.
Gotcha.
Is with sports. I connect people with sports. Lots will maybe connect with politics, and I always have opinions, but I keep those usually to myself. But yeah, sports is where I connect with people.
Okay. So I understand the idea that sports played a major role in connecting to people. What about the challenges of sports? You know, how do you feel that those may have shaped you and the people around you?
Well, yeah, actually, good point. I'm a big guy. I was a lot bigger when I was a kid. So I wasn't the best at sports, but I also never gave up. My dad taught me, and he wasn't the best at sports either, so we'll throw that out there. But he taught me, don't finish last. So I always had that mentality, don't finish last. There's always somebody who's going to be behind you.
Yeah.
That was what my driving force was. And if I ever did, I felt horrible. So I brought that into life. Just, I don't have to be first. Rarely ever have I ever been first. But just don't be last.
Don't be last.
But still in a team environment.
Yeah. So it definitely wasn't first or last, Ricky Bobby.
That's exactly it. Yeah, exactly.
So you've mentioned your dad quite a few times. What's your relationship like with your parents? Like, what was it like growing up with them?
Growing up, my dad, he owned a bulk fuel station. And then he left that job and he actually became a truck driver when I was, I think, 11, maybe 12. So he was actually away quite a bit.
Okay.
So I would go with him, summer holidays. I'd go for a week or two, live on the road. I got to see many parts of Canada and the U.S. just through, truck driver's eyes. So that's how I got to do some traveling off the get-go. We got along, and then when I became an adult, we clashed. He passed away 11 years ago, and you never realize how much you miss a parent until they've passed.
Yeah.
So as much as we clashed, I'm a lot like him. My mom and I we got along very well, and of course when my dad was gone, it was just you just heard me. So when he passed, she was basically on her own, and again I'm an only child, but live 8 hours away from her.
Yeah.
So it's to the point of don't get to see her much. And as of right now, she's in a nursing home. She's got dementia. So it makes it really tough. So, I still have a mom, but it's really difficult at this time in my life to handle it.
Is she still in the original hometown basically?
Yeah, she's still in the hometown.
You never thought about getting her out of there and bringing her closer?
Yeah, I have an aunt that lives there, and to move my mom closer to me would be a complete movement, and it wouldn't be well for her,
right?
Her mind or her well-being.
Right.
So actually, we moved her off.
Be nothing to recognize, nothing.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So we moved her off the farm into a nursing home in 2024, where she's been, since. But that's where she needs the care. In Canada, it's a little bit harder to get people into nursing homes. So once she's got a place, and there are some people that she knows, especially with dementia nowadays.
Do you get to see her? How often do you get to see her?
I go see her maybe 3 times a year, but talk with her every few weeks on the phone. Again, our conversations don't go very, very long because she remembers. She has good days and bad days.
Yeah.
Forgets some things. We're fortunate she still remembers myself, my wife, my kids. So she still has that memory. Her short term is going. And again, that's another thing, you hear about people with dementia. You don't realize until you start to deal with it. And then that's opened my eyes to other people who have family members who are dealing with it. And
yeah.
It's really interesting how we get connected with people without really realizing how connected we are. With someone who's dealing with a family member with dementia. Well, what's that family member dealing with? How did you deal with this? And we can bounce those ideas off them. To which I do right now with my mom.
Yeah. It's I'm sure that there's going to be someone listening that's probably going through something similar. And maybe they get to see their mom more or their dad more, but again, the conversations are short-lived, you know? And that's got to be rough. I've never had to deal with it, but it's got to be rough.
It's actually, I'll use the term frustrating.
Okay.
So before my mother got diagnosed with dementia, I would actually get in fights with her on the phone, not realizing that there was something wrong. And nowadays I look back at it going, and I still get frustrated, but I don't express it. I ride it. I understand that where she's at. So yeah, my wife reminds me, she goes, you remember how you used to yell at her? I'm like, yeah, I know. Like it. And I just hope that I never get to, you know, that ever hits me, so my family wouldn't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Or yell at you.
Well, yeah, or yell at me. That's right. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I understand my mom doesn't understand what's happening, and she can't stop it.
It's a scary thought. You know, it makes you, like, even if your mom doesn't have dementia and you're listening to this, maybe slow down a little bit and realize that they're up there in age.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I'm getting up there in age already. I'm only in my mid-40s, but my kids do yell at me and they call me old. I said, you just wait.
You just wait.
It's coming.
You just wait. So you graduated 19 people in your graduating class.
Yeah, huge class.
Huge class. Do you know where the other 18 are? Like, do you still have connection to some of them?
Some of them, you know, social media, there's been some connections, but actually there's one that will shoot me a message, real estate related, once or twice a year.
Yeah.
But other than that, literally, when I left that small town, when I graduated, and again, this probably goes because I'm an only child and an introvert, couldn't care less if I
kept in touch
with them. You know, a couple years after, I ran into I'd call it was a good friend, and he actually helped me move, and, you know, we hung out for a couple of months, and then he helped me move again. And then I joked with him one time, he owed me $20 off of one of the moves, and he got mad at me, and we haven't spoken since, and that was in 1999.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, it must be a small town thing. But again, you know, to use the term, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, but that's really how it is. Like,
That's pretty petty, no?
Well, yeah. Well, on his part, yeah. Like now, if I saw him again, I would literally go up to him. He stole me $20. But I really wouldn't care.
Like, burn the horse, bro.
Yeah.
Burn the horse.
But I also know of people that I graduated with that are still in that town.
Yeah.
That didn't
go anywhere.
Didn't go outside that bubble. And I think that's what my mom actually wanted me, never to leave that town. I'm so thankful I did. Yeah. The way my life has turned out, even with the big hurdles I've had to deal with. I wouldn't be where I am today or experienced things or met you if I wouldn't have left that town.
And that goes to the forge, right? Because, like, leaving that town was a major decision. And then life happens.
Yeah.
Like, now you're not in the comfort of your local friends, your parents, etc. Now you're just in this whole new world. And you got to go full force in this world.
And maybe that goes along with being an introvert. I could literally pick up and go somewhere else and start all over if I had to.
And just be fine.
Yeah, and I don't want to, but, you know, even changing my business expanding my business from Canada into the U.S. I had friends say, you're crazy. Why would you ever want to do that? No one's, you know, we don't really know anybody who's done that. I'm like, I'm going to try. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, I tried.
Yeah.
But that goes back to training as a police officer. You know, you go for it.
Yeah. That's kind of the next question is that when you decided to become a police officer, when you left town, or did you?
No, that was
a
actually
different path.
So my dad wanted me to be a police officer right from when I was in school. I didn't want to, just because it wasn't my calling. I actually wanted to be, because I love hockey, I wanted to be a play-by-play announcer for hockey. That was my goal. So my guidance counselor said, well, you're going to have to get a diploma in radio and television broadcasting. You probably have to be a DJ or something like that.
Yeah.
So I did that. Right out of high school, I went to college. I got out of college. It was a 9-month course. I got out after 4.5. At 4.5, I got picked up by a radio station to become just as a news reader.
Yeah.
Boring. But I did that. But I wanted to be a play-by-play sports announcer. That was my goal at all times. I moved 4 times in 2.5 years. 4 times in just under 2 years. But I got to a radio station that said, we'll teach you how to be a play-by-play sports announcer. So I did that. So by age 19, I'd already completed my goal. I wanted to be a play-by-play sports announcer. I did that for a couple of years. And then I realized money sucks. Like literally. I was making $1,300 a month in 1999. I'm like, I need to rethink my life.
Yeah.
Literally quit radio, went and worked in a warehouse that I worked at when I was in high school, or when I graduated high school for a summer job. Walked in one day. Would you hire me? And they're like, yes, you can come back. I worked that job for 4 months before I'm like, man, this labor job is not for me. And then one of my old radio stations called me up and said, hey, we're looking. All right, whatever. I missed it, so I went back into it, went back to the shit money again. Moved again to another radio station that was brand new startup, but from people that I'd worked with in years past. Again, it's all about the connections.
Right.
And you always end up somewhere for a reason. So I ended up in the city that I actually live in now, Lloydminster. And it's where I met my wife. So again,
everything's happening for a reason.
Yeah. And while I worked there in my first year, my dad was talking to me, and I really wish you would have been a police officer. And I was 23 at the time. So again, not a lot of years had passed. And didn't think anything of it. But because I was in the media and I talked with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police detachment for news, the sergeant there, who I always talked to, he's like, you'd be a good cop. Have you ever thought about this? I'm like, oh, my dad wanted me to. He's like, we're hiring. We need people. And he started telling me what the starting salary was, and it was $45,000. At that time, I'm like, wow, 45. Yeah. Like, I was making 25.
You're going to be rich.
Exactly. I wasn't married yet, but, things were going really good. And you know what? I think this might be the thing. And that's how it started. And then I applied, and 15 months later, I was in training. So, like you say, you're forged, right? Things happen. They happen for a reason. But every time it happened to me, it's because I took a chance.
A chance is something.
Yep. And I took a chance on myself. And the only person that could make it fail was me.
Yeah.
And I keep doing that. Yeah. And I never know what's coming up next. But I won't stop. My wife used to hate me for it. Now I think she loves me for it, from where we are today.
Where you are today.
Even for me coming down to do this podcast, she's like, yeah, go for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can't, that type of support's undeniable. Like when, because it shows trust, shows belief in the idea and the system, that's awesome. And we'll more than likely hit on that later. So, a big conversation I kind of want to have with you is the PTSD side of things. But before I do that, because obviously we know PTSD is post-traumatic stress syndrome, right? Yeah. And I suffer from PTSD. You do. Travis, our mutual friend, also as well. What was the triggers or the events that happened while you were a police officer that led to this disorder, if you will, because that's what it is?
And just chills, right? Every time I think about it. So it, and I get people who talk to me about it, like, you don't have to talk about it. I said, I will talk about it. But if I get flushed, if I pause, it's just my body is reacting.
Take over, brother.
So we'll flash back to being a police officer. I idolized, this is weird to say, I idolized traffic cops. Like the ones who went and gave tickets. For the reason being, they make their own work.
Yeah.
I don't have to respond to the bullshit calls. I don't have to deal with the same people over and over again. I could make my own work. So
Yeah.
that's how I directed my career. And as I was directing my career that way, when I was still young in the force, I was just over a year just over a year's service. Again, maybe going off track, but this is how it's coming into play. I was responding to a call to back up a police officer through the country roads, but it wasn't an emergency call. Like, he just asked for help. But I turned on my lights, I turned on my sirens, I'm flying down the gravel roads. I lost control. Wintertime, I hit the ditch, my truck flipped 3 times.
Oh, wow.
I finished everything, tapped oh my God, okay, I'm alive. Crawled out, and then I hear sirens. Everybody heard I'd crashed, and they're coming to me. I'm like, I'm fine, whatever. But an investigation got opened on me. And I had no idea that we even had a collision reconstructionist unit in the area where I was at. I'm newish. They literally did a full investigation on my vehicle. They asked me all the questions. I answered everything truthfully. And then the investigator shows me, yeah, you were doing, he goes, you were doing 98 kilometers an hour in an 80 kilometer an hour zone. I said, yeah, probably. I asked him, how'd you find that out? Well, I could tell by the skid marks on the road. Like, what? I had no idea you could do that.
Yeah.
And he goes, and the computer in the truck. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't realize every vehicle has basically a black box.
Right.
I was so enamored by this. I got charged. I got charged. I got a traffic ticket. I had to pay it. Pretty much totaled off a police vehicle of $150,000. But now I fell in love. I'm like, that is awesome. I want to do that. I got nailed by it, but I want to do that. So for the next 4 years, I studied. I did everything I could to get into that course, and it was extremely hard. And my second daughter was born in July of 2008. 3 weeks after she was born, I got the call. You're going for traffic analyst training in the province of British Columbia. It's a 3-week course. I literally had to leave my wife, who had a year and a half year old or a 1.5 year old and a brand new baby. My wife supported me, and I disappeared for 3 weeks for this course because this is where I wanted my career to go. Passed it, kept excelling, became the traffic analyst for my area, went to all the major car crashes. So for the next 5 years, that was my job, traffic enforcement and go deal with the car crashes. Still love car crashes to this day. Don't like death. Cannot handle death. I was fortunate I never dealt with anybody who got shot or got shot at myself as a police officer. But traffic car crashes, I dealt with death. And unlike many police officers who will go to the scene, first responders, see it, and move on, I had to take photos, videos, measurements, recreate every crash. But not just once, constantly going over the paperwork, the photos, and I can still see, like, they're like ghosts in my mind. But I think where the real kicker was when somebody would get off because of a lawyer, and someone wouldn't get, convicted. And I would say one of the instances that really hit me hard was a 19-year-old girl going to school in the neighboring town to college, traveling down the highway. It was foggy one day. A tractor trailer, flatbed tractor trailer, crossed the highway to make a left turn when they couldn't see properly. And their trailer was stopped on the highway. This girl down the highway, slammed on her brakes, vehicle underneath hit the flatbed, her head hit and popped like a cantaloupe. And I know as graphic as that sounds. Still see her face. Still see everything we did, for the investigation or that I had to do. Still remember the amount of time and effort, like I'm talking hundreds of hours to put this into court. And before we even went all the Crown prosecutor did at the time was, there's no criminal charges, it's just a traffic ticket. Driver pled not guilty. Judge let them off. And in the courtroom, the the parents crying. I remember hearing that. We didn't do anything wrong. We proved everything, but the judge made their decision, and I've learned to live with that. But it's instances like that. I remember one time a nomad, I call him a nomad, guy just traveling across the country, got hit head on by a drunk driver, like full on highway speed.
Wow.
It was him and his 2 dogs. The only way we knew it was that he had 2 dogs is when they did the next of kin. But the crash was so violent, him and the 2 dogs melded into one. And again, not to be graphic, but like I can still see it. But living through all that stuff. And that person never got, they got charged for impaired driving, but the lead investigator, took their eyes off them for 15 minutes, which was enough for the judge to throw the charge out. Guy walked away with nothing. So it was one day in November of 2013. I know that was a really long way to go around it. I honestly, I don't really know what was happening. But all of a sudden in my house, I literally collapsed to the floor, crying and shaking. It was one of the most horrible instances in my life. Lost all control of myself and didn't realize what was happening. Couldn't work anymore, or at the time. Then the RCMP started looking into me more, and at that time, you didn't admit failure.
Yeah.
Even though through the years we were trained in training from our drill sergeant, you do not show weakness. You bottle things up inside.
Yeah.
So I did that for all those years. That's how I got promoted to a corporal, and I was on my way to be a sergeant. You bottled everything up until the top pops, and I joke with people that I snapped. Or sometimes my wife will I'll do something and she's joking. She goes, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "Yeah, actually, I literally have been
Legitimate.
I've been legitimately called crazy." But I used that term in November of 2013. I literally snapped. Not violently, just my brain shut off. And for the next year, I don't remember a whole bunch. My wife and I had a conversation about something else the other day. And she's like, we actually was staying in a hotel in a city, and she goes, "Oh, I think we stayed there." I said, "No, I don't think so." No, and she starts telling me all this stuff about it. I said, "Was that before I snapped?" And she goes, "Yeah, it would have been." I said, "Well, I don't remember it, but I believe you." And she goes, "Yeah, I know there's a lot you don't remember." And not angrily, she understands. But it's true,
You just shut off life in general.
my brain completely shut off. Like, again, even the year that I did snap, I don't remember much.
So, take it back to the collapse. What did that moment feel like?
Helpless. Never been like that before. My wife was so scared, she didn't know what to do, and it happened a few other times, not to this extent, but where she was able to call medical professionals to walk her through how to deal with me. But I'd always been the man of the house, wife and 2 girls, of course, the man of the house. I didn't know what was happening. And then my life is all going to hell. Police force, I don't know what happened, but threw an investigation on me on something else. Now I'm suspended while I'm sick, and now
You're just not.
my world is collapsing.
Yeah.
And my wife could have left me at any time. She stayed with me. So I still say to this day, I owe her everything till the day I die. I owe her everything. Fortunately, my kids don't remember. They were too young. So yeah, it's.
You said it was one of the, I guess, one of the darkest periods of your life. What did like a dark day look like for you?
Lonely. My dog literally died 3 weeks after I did that. I collapsed. Now I'm in a house all by myself. I promised my wife we weren't getting another dog. 3 days later, I got another dog, and I told her I need something to talk to.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, heavily medicated, suicidal thoughts. The only thing keeping me going was my 2 young girls, who I wanted to see grow up. At the same time, I'm seeing other RCMP officers killing themselves because they have PTSD. I never thought to ever do that, but I still remember the voices, and I can still hear them every once in a while to do that.
I want to take a moment and talk about the suicide part. There's a quote in the United States that say 22 veterans take their lives on a daily basis. It's the status, right, or the stat for it. A lot of that has to do with the inability to speak and share and look for the help, right? Because the help exists. I know it does personally because I go to the VA hospital for, you know, my needs. So I know the help is there, it exists. But it's almost like the manly thing to do to not ask for help. So when you had that first collapse, did you ask for help right away, or did it take time for you to kind of say, okay, babe, like look at your wife and go, you're going to have to get me in front of some medical professionals?
She asked what was wrong, you know, and I can see in your eyes how this really affects you as well, so you really relate. She didn't know what to do. She was freaking out. She was hanging on to me. I can still remember shaking, like literally, like you're really cold, but
Yeah.
but you're not, and it's complete involuntary convulsions, but you're awake for it. I don't remember what she did. I don't think I went to the hospital. I don't remember. I just know I ended up seeing a psychiatrist, psychologists. Eventually, excuse me, I got put on some really heavy meds that made me drool. I felt like a vegetable.
Right. Because the meds are almost not designed to help you.
They're meant to stop the voices
Right.
so you don't act on what the voice is going to
Which means that it dumbs you down dramatically.
Exactly the words. I felt like I was dumb, like I was dumbed down. And even during my recovery, well, I'd say recovery, it wasn't recovery at that time. It was dumbed down. My wife would come home from work, and I'd still be sitting on the couch in the same spot. And she'd go, "What'd you do today? Like, when did you leave?" TV's not on. I was just sitting there. And I still remember her talking to me one time about that. And she'd gone to work, come home for lunch. I was sitting in the same spot, gone to work again, came back after work, still sitting in the same spot. That's when I realized, even though I'm heavy on meds, I got to get off these.
Yeah.
I have to get myself better. So I don't really drink. Like I'll drink a little bit, but I partied hard for a year and a half after high school, had my fun.
That was it.
Not my thing. Like I'll still have a drink here and there. But then being a police officer, seeing what alcohol can do to you, I just didn't want to deal with that. So I'm fortunate that I never relied on substances, so I couldn't abuse them.
Right.
Because I feel that if I did, I wouldn't be where I am today. I'd probably be 6 feet under, because I could just drank myself to death.
Yeah, what a blessing to not have that tendency while you're going through that.
Yeah, I was still lucid enough to I got to fix myself. And again, that's the term, myself. Not asking anybody else for help. I need to fix myself.
What? So you said you had this period. It was about a year and a half where you don't remember anything. Is that the time frame that it took for you from collapse to let's say searching to this decision? Like, I need to fix myself. Is that the time frame, or was it in that middle of that, or?
It was in the middle. So it was about a year. So November of 2013 is when I collapsed and my life was over. Honestly, I thought my life was over. I'm 34. what am I going to do with my life now? I've been in radio. I've been a police officer. I'm still a police officer.
Yeah.
But I had seen what the RCMP did to people who got sick. You got pushed away into the corner, if anything. I loved being a cop. I loved being on the road. I loved talking with people with traffic tickets, because not everybody got a traffic ticket.
Yeah.
You know, we just had a nice conversation.
Yeah.
Or at least I thought it was nice. Maybe they didn't. But I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. So it was about the summer of 2014. I was like, okay, that's when I've decided I need to figure something else, because I couldn't see people. I was stuck in my house. I couldn't handle crowds, small spaces, the PTSD, the shakes, the darkness I was in, the meds. That I saw a psychologist regularly. She started doing some experimental treatments on me, so not medication related, and suggested that I start getting off the meds. And I started to, and I went off a little too fast.
As we like to do as men.
And then those voices came back, and they came back really hard. And then I told a psychiatrist, and he's like, no, you can't do that. We'll wean you off. And they did. But that still took 9 months.
Yeah.
So nothing to get you on it, but 9 months to wean off. But anyway, I got off track. October of 2014, so 11 months after. I don't even remember how this happened. But I started talking with my realtor. I'm not trying to sell a house. I don't even know what it was. We played hockey a little bit together. Maybe that's what it was, just in passing. Oh, I know what it was. He'd reached out. I haven't seen you in a while, you know.
Doing that good old realtor follow-up.
Exactly. It was fun. I'm like, all right. And so, what are you up to? And I'm sick and all this stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I was opening up to him. It was over text messaging. I'm opening up because I'm not in person. But I just felt I had to open up. And he's like, we're hiring. Have you ever thought about a career in real estate? I'm like, huh, kind of, but not really. Well, here's what you got to do to get started. We'll give you a job. Wow. 2 days later, I enrolled in the course. And it was just in case. I was still employed with the RCMP.
Right.
But it's just in case. But it gave me a sense of purpose.
So the just in case worked out.
It did.
So were you released from the police department, or did you make a decision to walk away?
Well, both. Actually, I was given an option. So I took the real estate course because I'm like, it gives me something to do. So for 6 weeks, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 6 weeks, I studied at home, but it gave me a sense of purpose. It actually helped me. It helped me heal, because now I was no longer sitting like a vegetable watching TV.
You had something to do.
I had something to do, and I could do it by myself. So again, I could do this by myself and do my treatments. And what was it? It was December of 2014. So I was almost nearing the ending of my courses. And the RCMP came back to me. Or, you know what? You're never going to be we admit you're sick. They're admitting they were part of it. You'll never be a road cop again. You can never be in the field. So we can either give you a full medical pension, or you can ride out the next 14 years of your life in headquarters riding a desk.
That's not being a police officer.
Yeah, and I'm like, I never wanted to be a desk cop. Like I was a supervisor who would check files on the road because I didn't want to be in a desk. I just said, pension. I'm done. And then it's like, now I'm full in. Now I'm all into real estate. 1 month later.
Did that change? Like, did you feel in any way when they're standing in front of you and they're looking at you and they're going, you got two choices here. You ride a desk, or I give you a medical pension. Either way, you're never going to be the cop that you enjoy being. Did that emasculate you at all? Or were you like, you know what? Fuck it. Like...
It was, I'm done. If I can't be a cop, because I took training to help people.
Right.
Not ride a desk.
Right.
I still have a hard time relating to police officers who are trained, but they ride a desk. Again, but then
I don't get it.
Yeah, to each their own. So the only thing that really ticked me off was you can't keep your badge. Like, well, other people, no, you're retired in full medical pension, you can't keep your badge. Okay, that's one thing I do miss. And you know, our mutual friend Travis, he gave me a challenge coin, which is in the shape of his badge. I'll share it here with you. He doesn't know this. It goes with me everywhere. He didn't know about a lot of this stuff, or actually any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe he's listening today. And he gave me that badge. It went in my backpack. It went with me to Japan. The day I triggered in Japan, I hung on to it. It's here with me today. I don't have it on my person, but it's with me. It's in my vehicle. Because I have a badge again. And I know it really sounds weird, but I always loved my badge.
Yeah.
It was, again, sense of purpose. So, got off topic, I guess, there, but, you know, rolling back, when I was given I did what they wanted me to do. Just fuck off.
Yeah.
Here's your pension, fuck off.
That's what they wanted you to do.
And my thought was no responsibilities with that. I don't have to worry about triggering maybe anymore. Again, fat chance that ever happened, but I was wanting to do real estate. I have my sense of focus. I have my sense of purpose again. I'm starting from the ground up, but I can do this. And I went through with full drive. But I had sense of purpose.
Can I go back to the badge for a moment?
Yeah.
So why was the badge so important to you? Like the actual physical piece of metal. Why was that so important to you?
Camaraderie. My dad always wanted me to be a police officer. We'll jump into that here. That'll be something else here. Be a little emotional, but the camaraderie. I loved serving the public, serving the people. I never flashed my badge to people, but just to know I had it. The gun I couldn't care less about. You know, when they're like, you got to give your gun back. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know, still never shot one since. But the badge was a sense of purpose. The other part with that was shortly before all that happened, my dad died. And because I was on medical leave at the time with the RCMP, this is before they rendered their decision, I remember going into my commanding officer's office and said, my dad just died. I got to go home and see my mom on the other side of the province. And he's like, well, I'm not going to let you go. He goes, you have to be here. And I looked at him and said, you can do all you want. I'm going to see my mom. My dad just died. And he goes, I'll write you up. I said, you go ahead, write me up all you want. I said, and I'll let the public know that you stopped me from seeing my mom because my dad died. Like, I'm not going on a party. My dad died.
Yeah.
So it wasn't long after that when I got my resignation stuff started. My dad was no longer, he knew I was studying for real estate just in case. But he idolized me. Like, I remember when I became a police officer, he cried. And that was one of those things that it was also for him, I guess, to make him proud. He's gone now. My mom never wanted me to be a police officer. She thought I would die. Pretty close to going this route, but for me, the journey was over. It was all I knew, but I knew I had a previous career. Now I had this career. I'm 35 now. Never thought about starting at 35 because when you're young, 35 is old.
Yeah. Now you look back at it and you go, that's not that bad.
No, I could start over again today.
Yeah.
If I had to start over today, I could start over today. But that's not what I was drilled into my mind.
Right.
So, but losing the camaraderie. But even that, like, and I didn't highlight on this, I'll bring it up now. When I got diagnosed with PTSD, we had a detachment of 52 police officers. Other than the commanding officer who had to see me sign in every day to show that I was still around.
Yeah.
2 other police officers out of them ever spoke to me. I was a pariah. But I didn't take it personal because I did the same thing to 2 other people in the previous years. So I looked at that going, karma got me.
Yeah.
I deserve this.
Wow.
And to
What's
this
the
day,
what's the idea behind that?
weakness. You don't associate with the weak or you won't get promoted. To this day, and in the RCMP, people move around a lot. To this day, there are still 2 police officers out of those 52 that were there. 2 police officers in that detachment that are still working there when I was. We used to get along all the time. Still don't talk to me. I don't care. Whatever you can do, you do you, I'll do me. Won't deal with me. Won't talk with me. So don't have it out for me either, but
Right.
it's just...
They just made a decision that they won't associate with
They
you.
won't associate. I'm like, okay.
That's very I find that a little difficult to digest.
Coming from the Marine Corps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause in the Marine Corps, the idea is, what do you need, brother? Right? Like, how can I help you? Like, you are to never be alone. Like, you have my number. I don't care what time it is, what day it is, what you're going through. You call me, I'll be here. That's the mentality.
So
To carry each other.
you've got your Semper Fi, right?
Yep.
Okay. Or even when I'm visiting in the U.S. and someone hears that I retired police officer, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
That's not north of the border. Rarely, ever will you hear that. Even if you're a police officer and you're retired, we call them members. You're a member of the RCMP, you're a retired member. Many people don't announce that they are retired members and then there's very little association. Maybe it's not in the culture, but I've been told it's getting better. So that's good, because it better damn well be, because my daughter is trying to become a member of the RCMP, and I totally support her because I think that honestly it is a great career.
Yeah.
I just got into a bad spot.
Yeah.
But they started changing the ways because of people like me, the ones who killed themselves.
Yeah, like how many people have to take their lives or fall apart before you realize that there needs to be a better camaraderie?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. But also, there's a lot of police officers, they don't associate with people in the public. Well, the police will only associate with police. In the community I was at, when my kids were young playing soccer, I'd go to my kids' game in uniform. Other police officers or kids would play, they wouldn't go. They're like, no, my kid's playing. I said, well, go watch him. No, I don't want to be there in uniform. Who cares? Like, I coach my one kid playing soccer.
Is it a public thing? Like,
personal, just a personal thing. Some people don't want to be associated in case somebody recognizes them. Now, we talked about...
Doesn't everybody know anyway?
Surprisingly,
Like, it's almost like if you...
They don't.
If you don't show up in uniform, isn't like somebody gonna tell somebody else, and eventually the whole damn soccer team knows that you're a cop. Doesn't matter whether you show up in uniform or not.
They will eventually if people talk. Otherwise, they won't. Like in a small...
I feel like people always talk, right? Like
in a small town, yes.
Yeah.
So the city I'm in is 35,000. It's
Yeah.
still very small, but up there it's a little larger. But
that's wild to me, by the way.
well,
I just want to say it's wild to me. Like,
It is.
there's 35,000 people in your town. There are 56 or 60,000 real estate agents alone in South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's so wild to me.
and up there, people think 35,000 is big,
Yeah.
but people can blend in. So when I was a police officer there, when you're not in uniform and I'm just in civilian clothing, I would see things I didn't want to see, but I still had to supposedly act on them. I'd see people shopping in Walmart that weren't supposed to be with the other people. And like, fuck, what do I got to do? Make a phone call,
Yeah.
Call it in. But they wouldn't know, they wouldn't recognize us because all they ever see is the uniform. They never see the face of the person.
Yeah.
Now that I'm not into that, I don't give a shit when I go to Walmart, and I'm sure there's a lot of shitties that are there when I'm there. I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's not my responsibility. But again, going back to that thing, when parents wouldn't go to their kids' activities in uniform, again, I didn't care. Like when I grew up in that small little town, for 2 years, my hockey coach was the detachment commander. He came and coached when he was on duty. He was on the ice in his work boots because in case he had to go, he had to go.
Yeah.
But he was there to coach us, and that taught me you're part of the community.
Yeah.
So when somebody wouldn't go to an event or their kids' activity in uniform, like, are you embarrassed? Who cares? Like, to me, it's a conversation piece, and especially now being in real estate.
Yeah.
We tell people I'm a real estate agent, and it opens up a conversation. So but yeah, the camaraderie, it's not like it used to be.
Did you ever feel at any point, I mean, I know the answer to this, but it's a silly question almost, but I want people to hear it, Did you feel like you failed your family when all of this was going on?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was. When I collapsed and my life turned to shit, I call it turned to shit. I was still getting paid, so I still had a paycheck coming in.
Right.
I wasn't doing anything for it. Didn't know what I was going to do. And then, of course, the mind always said, well, what if I can't do this job anymore?
Right.
How do we pay the mortgage?
Right.
My wife's income at the time can't do this. So when I got full medical pension, okay, we can pay the mortgage. But I need to do something with my life. I can't, I know one other person who has a brain injury, and since they got diagnosed, and not PTSD, but another brain injury.
Is it TBI?
Yeah, actually, I think it is.
Yeah.
And they worked in the oil patch, and got a bonk in the head, and had trouble focusing on things, but they're getting disability payment. They haven't worked in 4 or 5 years now. The wife works all the time, but the husband doesn't. And I guess maybe I don't know the full situation, but I would have to do something.
Yeah.
Like I get a pension. I get a disability, and I get a disability pension from Veterans Affairs. We could live without me ever working again. Oh my God, I would do myself in. I hate to say that. If I had nothing to do, I need a sense of purpose.
So I think this is a really great conversation because the money is coming anyway. No matter what you do, the rest of your life there'll be an income coming in.
Yeah.
But there's a sense of duty inside of you as a man that says, I cannot sit on the couch and just live that life. Like, I just can't do it.
Nope.
Right? Maybe in the future, maybe like in retirement days or something. But even then,
Nope.
I tell my wife, I want to retire at 55. I want to be done. And she laughs because she goes, you're not going to be done. You're going to find something to do, or you're going to find a way to incorporate yourself in what's working and just keep doing that,
I sell real estate in Canada. I bought a place in Florida this year because I was growing my team in Florida.
Yeah.
Because my wife and I want to retire to Florida. Because my wife will retire, I need something to do.
So you're building a real estate business in Florida.
Yeah. I don't need to go show homes all the time, but I just need to be active in something.
Right.
I don't need to golf every day. I'll never be that person. My wife jokes, and I think she's serious, that I will work until I die, whether it's 80 or 55.
Yeah.
And I probably will do something because I need to have a sense of purpose. I can spend the odd day doing absolutely nothing. We all can. But I need something to do.
So would you say in that season of what was of just the biggest downfall of your entire life and PTSD and memory loss and all the stuff that's happening, would you say that purpose and your family is what kind of kept you going? Because I'm listening to you, and you've already talked about how your wife stood with you. You've already talked about how important your kids were for you, and now you're mentioning purpose. Was that it?
Yeah, absolutely. My wife and my kids. I look back at what if we didn't have kids? My wife,
It's a good question.
I like to think that she would have stayed with me by my side because we have a very, sorry, I thought we had a strong bond back then, and I'll get into that in a minute. But she was raised, her parents, you were together for life, and my parents, same thing. And this was the first real hiccup we'd ever had.
Yeah.
But we got 2 young girls, and for me, I got to do right by my kids. I want to see my kids grow up, and I want to show them hard work. And but for her, for my wife, she stood by me, and I mentioned before, like, I owe everything to her for sticking by me. Had she left, I wouldn't be here today. I know I wouldn't. There wouldn't have been the drive for survival. And that comes from, I thank the police for this training. As we were trained, and you probably have the same training in the military with the Marines, you fight until you die. When you're hand in hand, it's one-on-one. You fight until you die. And we were trained with that, or to subdue them.
Yeah.
You do not give up.
Do or die.
Yeah. They grab for your gun. You fight until one of you is no longer moving. And that better not be you. And I took that mentality when I was fixing myself, or trying to fix myself, that I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up until the ticker stops, however that's going to be, but it will not be by my hand.
Let's go back to your wife then. So you said you thought you had a bond, like a strong bond with her.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Nothing negative. That's where I look at to where we are today. So she had her career. I had my career. I worked shift work. She worked Monday to Friday, once the kids were in school. And there were some days I would see her in passing for an hour, just because of the shift work. And then now we're starting to see each other all the time, or at least on her off time. We were getting on each other's nerves, but she was there supporting me because I was a basket case, and probably actually I was told I was an asshole sometimes with my head. Apparently I yelled at the kids a lot. I don't remember this, so thankfully, and neither do I. To the point where in 2021, I asked her, my business is getting really busy. Would you like to come work with me? And she goes, no. She goes, we need that steady income from the second income. Mine was still good, but not the best with real estate. But enough that I was getting busier. I said, okay. To the point in April of 2022, she comes up to me. She was tired of her job. Can I come work for you? And I said to her, no. She's like, what? I said, you can't come work for me. You own half this company. You come work with me, and we'll figure this out. She goes, but I don't want to show houses. I don't want to deal with the people. I said, okay, but you got to be licensed. I want you to be licensed so you at least understand what's happening. And so we go from rarely seeing each other to I'm working 12 hours a day and she's getting angry at me when she'd come home and, I'm still working and no time.
Yeah.
To now we see each other all night. We're working together all day. We're like, oh my God, are we going to kill each other? We haven't had one fight in nearly 4 years.
Wow.
The bond has gotten stronger. I came down here right now to do this. I'm down here for a week by myself. We were apart from a week. We will talk at least a dozen times a day, whether it be text messages or phone call, video call. She's coming down here, and we're going to spend a week together. We can spend day and night together, and for the most part, not annoy the fuck out of each other anymore. We are stronger now than we ever have been. And again, things happen for a reason. People can't believe that we work together, and because the question, do you guys fight? Like, no. We don't.
I just find that so incredible. For my wife and I, it was different. We met in the industry, and then we actually worked together before we were dating, you know, and then we like worked together for like almost a decade, you know, hand in hand, and it was the absolute best. And then now she's doing something else, and I'm doing this, which is wild, you know.
But you can relate. And so when I was a police officer, she could not understand what I was dealing with.
Right. Now she does because she's in it.
Yes. So now she has some understanding, or she'll be like, well, how will we do this instead? Okay. If you think that's going to work, you know, and when I come down here for a week, she'll just take the reins on some things and just
go with it.
Yeah. So there's 100% trust. So we have a working relationship. I deal with the clients in person. I show the houses. I run the business for the most part. She handles the financials. She handles all the paperwork. Two things I really can't stand doing. She likes doing that stuff. So it actually works out really well. The difference is when 4 o'clock in the afternoon hits, she's done. She's out.
Yeah.
Anything that gets sent her after that, she is not seen till the next morning. I don't have that shut off, and that comes from being a police officer, where I was always on call.
Right.
But I'm getting better. I'm actually shutting my phone off at about 9 o'clock at night now, and I won't respond to a client after 9.
Listen, man, we got to talk, man. That's wild, man. I'm so happy to hear. You know, I find that the most successful men, and I don't mean in business, I mean in their own lives, in their own space. That could mean business, it could mean personal life, it could mean, have the best wives, have the best partnerships.
I know a couple of other husband and wife teams, and actually I've been able to gravitate towards them, and we can all relate, and they get along really well as well.
Yeah.
You know, and for them, it's actually second marriages for both of the two couples I'm thinking of. For my wife, it's our first, and hopefully our last. But for those other couples, they found exactly what they needed. And they can relate. Because I think in our business, in real estate, there can be trying days where you want to pull your hair out.
Yeah.
But you need that support system. I didn't have that when I was a police officer. She couldn't relate to, and honestly, I couldn't tell her what was happening because it's prohibited.
Right.
But now it's an open book, like literally, because she considers herself my assistant. I don't. She's my partner.
Yeah.
But she has access to all my emails, all my text messages. She sees everything. Like you know, when we chatted, I said I'm an open book. With my wife, it's an open book.
Yeah.
Like, you see everything. So I tell people that if you're texting me, just be aware what you say, because my wife sees it all the time.
Do you feel like you still, because you mentioned that you had a trigger in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, just what was that about?
I don't do well in unfamiliar situations where things are crowded and I don't know what's going to happen. So Japan, and I'll share what happened there. We were jumping on a train. The day before we were going to we went to Japan for my daughter. It was her graduation trip, and she wanted to go see a concert. But we wanted to figure out how to navigate the Tokyo subway system. And so it was the day before we were going. Like, okay, let's figure this out. My daughter was in charge of this. She accidentally got us on the wrong train.
Okay.
Which I didn't care, you know. But what ended up happening is the train got packed. A lot of people.
And I'm on anyone's ever seen a video of how Japanese pack up that train. It's insane.
And that's what happened. This was mid-afternoon where it's technically not supposed to happen, but she got us on this train. And I was standing hanging, because I don't take a seat unless I have to. I was standing. And I could feel the body tensing up. And I could feel the trigger. I'm like, oh, crap. And I took a picture of myself. And I've shared this on social media and shared people, this is exactly what I look like before a trigger. You don't really notice any difference, but I could remember this. All of a sudden, my left hand starts shaking and bad. And I put it right next to me. And my wife grabs on right away. She goes, it's happening? I'm like, yep. she got up off her seat and made me sit. And for the next, I'm told it was 45 minutes, all the stops, I sat with my head down by my knees looking at the floor so I couldn't see people. I could see some feet. I could hear what's happening, but I don't remember. I couldn't even tell you it was 45 minutes, only because my daughter said it was. She offered to get us off earlier. I'm like, just get us off where we got to get off. Like, just let me get through this. Yeah. And we get off, and she is crying because she felt that she made this happen, that she did this to Dad.
And she was responsible for it.
And I'm like, Jessica, it's not you. Like, just hate when my kids are in pain. I said, it's not you. We got out. I'm in an open space now. Just give me a minute. Let me recoup. And she's like, I'm done. We're going to go back to the hotel. I'm like, we're out here to go to a store you want to go to. Let's do this. Like, I'm sure you're the same way. Die for my kids, right?
Yeah.
She wants to do this. I'll do anything. This isn't going to stop me. Push through. Then she got out of the train station, out in the open air. Yes, Tokyo, there's lots of people, but I'm in open air. I'm no longer, I can spread my wings.
Yeah.
And I was okay, to a sense, until the next morning when I wake up and my body is just feeling like I just went through.
You got ran over by a truck.
Well, exactly, right? The body gets all tensed up. Yeah. But my kid was happy in the end. But she was crying, and she's an emotional child as it is. My other daughters, like me, bottles everything up, so I'm afraid she'll get into what I did. But we got through it, right? But that was just one trigger.
Yeah.
2 days later, it triggered again. Sitting having breakfast, and the hotel breakfast. There's two breakfast restaurants, but the one day, the big open air one, which was comfortable for me, was closed. So we went to the other one. Well, it's 10-foot ceilings. It's full of people. It's loud. Okay, I'm getting breakfast. I'm sitting down. All of a sudden, hands start shaking. I'm like, crap. I had my hat on, put my head down, me and the plate. Just eat. Just start eating. My wife and daughter, they're eating. And my wife, you're not good, are you? Nope. And I'm just eating. Dropped the fork. Got up, disappeared. I went back to the hotel room. Got myself back. Family, they finished their breakfast and shot me a text. Are you okay? I made it back. That's all they need to know. I made it back. And then my wife they come up and my wife's like, it was way too loud for you. And too many people. I said, yeah. And I said, as soon as that person sat right next to me at the next table, like 2 feet away, done.
Yeah.
The body, and the body shuts down. So I've learned to pick up the triggers, get out of the situation as best as I can. Otherwise, I will fall down and crumple into nothing.
I'll ask you, do you ever think like, and I've spoken to a lot of veterans about this, and sometimes I even feel it. Mm-hmm. Do you ever think that sometimes when you're going through it, you're thinking to yourself, my family probably thinks I'm full of shit right now?
No, not anymore. I used to. So my wife has been seeing the triggers now for, 12 years. She has actually picked up before I have sometimes. She'll grab my hand. I'm like, what? She goes, your hand's twitching. I'm like, I didn't know. She goes, let's just slow down. My kids, now that they're older, they're 19 and 17, they can now pick up. They were little kids before. They didn't understand.
Yeah.
But they're now starting to understand my triggers. We knew there was a risk that I was going to trigger on this trip to Japan. I didn't care. My kid wants to go there.
Gotta go.
I'm going. It's not going to kill me. And I had 3 episodes. Prior to that, I had 2 episodes of the entire 2025 before that. That's it. And the longest I've ever gone has been 11 months without one. They just
Sporadic.
They just come up. You know, I've been fortunate. Never while I'm driving. Well, actually, no. I guess I did have one driving. I can share. I don't know,
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, I was actually on my way to Florida for a conference, and I was driving from my home city. It's a 2.5 hour drive to the airport to the other city. And I'm 10 minutes from my city at an intersection that I've seen crashes at. I'd investigated crashes at before. All of a sudden I see a vehicle crossing the road when it shouldn't. Brakes, smoke, crash right in front of me. I think, oh my God. I parked my truck across 2 lanes of traffic, threw both doors open on my truck, opened them up to stop traffic, 4-way flashes on. Didn't think twice, checked on every occupant of the 2 vehicles involved. One vehicle was leaking diesel fuel and was smoking. Didn't think anything, jumped up in there, got the guy out of his truck. We got everybody safe, traffic stopped like I did everything I was supposed to. Didn't miss a beat. Like I was a police officer again. Knew exactly what I had to do. Mm-hmm. Police eventually showed up. I start shaking. Now the trigger, oh my God, I'm in the middle of hell.
You're in the middle of this again.
But nobody died. Everyone's alive. I'm like, okay, we're good. Police come. Here's my real estate business card. You know, I'm a retired member. I used to investigate this. I'm like, this is what happened. Here's you know, give them the whole story. I suffer from PTSD. I cannot be here right now. I said, if I stay here, you're going to be calling an ambulance for me. Call me. I will tell you everything. I'm recording everything on voice so I don't forget anything. He goes, okay. He goes, I got to get traffic out of here. I said, I know the route around. Direct traffic behind me. I'll lead everybody out. And then I got to get to Edmonton. So I did that. And I drove to Edmonton, 2.5 hour drive. Got to the hotel. Couldn't tell you the trip. Don't remember the trip. Didn't record the voice recording either. Did the interview with the police later, but still told him everything.
Yeah.
But the body
you
shut
had
down.
To get out of there. Your body
I had to
shut
get
down.
out, but my mind shut off. I never should have drove, but I did. So that's the only time I ever driving did I get triggered. But I had a sense of purpose. I can still remember everything about the crash. I still remember my actions because my training kicked in. Just like you've got your training. Yeah. You could pick right up where you left off. Your body might not
My
like
body
you
might not move the same way, but I'll know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what happened with me. So again, going back to things like I've been fortunate, I haven't triggered in very significant instances, but I can pick them up, or if I had to, I could.
You can get it done.
I can get it if I'm in a controlled environment.
Okay.
Sporting events, I can go to a hockey game in a crowd of 25,000 people. I'm in a happy place there. I can be crammed in. But I don't know if I could, anywhere else. Like we're always unsure. But
yeah.
But if I'm in a happy place, I'm good.
That's interesting because later on, or maybe soon, I'd probably like to have a conversation on how you think you get this out of your system, mm-hmm. right? Like, what ultimately becomes the happy place? 24/7, 365. Where you just said it. You could sit in a full stadium full of people watching a hockey game, and you don't get triggered, but you're sitting at a restaurant having breakfast and you can get triggered. Yep. And I understand that. When does it become the point, or what do you need in your life for it to become or get to the point where triggers become obsolete?
I don't think it'll ever be, because you can never control your environment wherever you are. We'll throw hockey because my life revolves around hockey, being a hockey referee. I can be on the ice. I will not hear people yelling at me as a referee. People yell at the referee. I can tune that out.
Yeah.
It's me and the game. Me and the game. Sometimes I don't even hear the coaches yelling at me. Just shut it off. Mm-hmm. I wish I could do that in the world, but when I'm on the ice, that's my world. It's my comfort. So whether I'm refereeing hockey in Canada at multiple different rinks in different communities, or down here in Florida, I referee in Florida too. Because I come down here so much, I got myself certified in the U.S. It's a little bit of a different game, but it's my happy place.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, it's where that's my happy place. Honestly, it's the best. That's how. Like,
That's your place. That's your thing.
yeah, I've got friends who say, "You're crazy. You bring all your equipment down with you." Yeah, but that's my happy place. Like, I don't care if I get paid. I just want to do it for fun. I just want to.
Yeah.
It's my. Like, I would say if I triggered in the afternoon and I had a hockey game to go to, then I'd make that hockey game. Nothing would stop me from getting there.
Yeah.
That's my place.
Yeah, it's like one of my happy places. Believe it or not, one of my happy places is shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I'm on the range or something, I'm in my zone, man.
Yeah.
I love doing it. I love that I'm good at it, you know, and so I'm in my zone. Same thing as my backyard. I could sit in my backyard and have a cigar and just disappear for 45 minutes to an hour and everything. I'm not even in. My brain doesn't even go to work. My brain doesn't go to personal life. My brain doesn't go to the bank account. My brain doesn't go anywhere. It's right there with me.
Well, your backyard is like a zen from what I'm used to. But another happy place. I made a social post about this the other day. My wife and I, we like Disney. You know, I couldn't do that stuff. My parents couldn't take me to that when I was a kid. We've taken our kids there. I'm a Canadian. I have an annual pass because we come to Florida so much. Disney can hold, Disney Magic Kingdom can hold, 80,000 people?
Yeah, probably 100,000 people or something, yeah.
I don't trigger there. In Tokyo,
that's so wild.
I don't trigger there. All these people are around me. I can be cramped. I was in a store, my wife and I wanted to punch people. That was so bad. But I don't
and
trigger.
you were just fine.
I don't trigger because I'm in a different world. And, you know, even in Florida here, it's my happy place. I know it's a magical place, and people laugh at me for that. 'Cause I'm a big 46-year-old guy, and I got Mickey ears. I got Mickey I dive right into it.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think. 'Cause I've never triggered, and I tell people I've never triggered at Disney. With all those people, fireworks, loud noises, cramped spaces, stuff that triggers me everywhere else, does not trigger me there.
Man, lucky you. I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. So now, you know, fast forward a little bit, you become a real estate agent, a very successful one at that. Like, you know, you talked about why you got into the real estate business, but what really said, go all in on this? Like, this is it. This is like, dude, you're going to love this. Go do it.
So when I started, I needed something to do, like a sense of purpose.
Right.
So that was the first step. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try. I did 14 deals in my first 5 months.
Boom.
Wow, this is really good. And then my wife got a job offer in a different city for us to move. I'm like, well, let's get out of Lloydminster. Absolutely, let's go to Calgary. Absolutely, let's go do that. So we rent a place there, try to sell our home in the worst market ever because oil had just crashed. Not a great time to be in real estate in oil country. Mm-hmm. And so I just started in the real estate business for 5 months. My wife moves. I said, honey, I'm following you in your career. She was in the banking industry. Excuse me. I'll start over. I just started over. I'll start over again.
Yeah.
And I started over in Calgary, where you've been there now.
Yeah.
So I started there. We did that I was there for 5 months. Hard. And I go from a small town to a big city. We'll talk about trying to eat me alive. I'm not giving up. Worked at it for 5 months. No sales in 5 months. But at least I had my pension, coming in. So I've got that.
So you went from 14 to no sales in 5 months.
Yeah, I'm like, crap. And then my wife's like, I hate my job here. I hate commuting. I can't take this. They offer me a job back in Lloydminster. She goes, I loved it in Calgary. Yeah. She goes, I know you love it here. I'm going back with or without you. That's literally how she said it to me. She goes, I quit my job. They're transferring back. I'm leaving tomorrow with or without you.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It was never a thought that, well, I'm staying here. You're going.
Oh, no.
Nope. You stood by me through my shit times. Yep.
This is what's happening.
Yep, back everything up.
This is what's happening.
Yeah, our house never sold, and back into the house, and then, oh crap. Well, now what am I going to do? Actually, I bought a video game trailer and did an entertainment business for, what was that? For about a year. And then another realtor up in Lloydminster reached out to me, wanted to do a spotlight on my business, just connecting with the community. Yeah. And he's like, hey, you ever thought about coming back into real estate?
Community highlight.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was, community highlight. I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of thought about it, but I got to start all over again. And why don't you come work with our brokerage? And they had some pretty high fees, but paid better. I'm like, all right, whatever, So I did my entertainment business and the real estate 50-50, which was actually why things really worked for me, because now I'm really running a real business that's losing money and then making money and losing and putting loads of hours work until 2021 after COVID, and that pretty much killed the entertainment business. I know you don't understand that in Florida, but in Canada, COVID killed businesses. Yeah. Sold that business, went 100% into real estate, and it was like a rocket ship.
There you go.
And never looked back.
So now you're like successful business person. You're traveling. You're building a team in Florida. You're building a team in Canada. You're doing all these different things. You have financial stability, which is huge, right?
Getting there.
Or
Not quite there. Getting there.
Getting there. Okay. So you're on your way to financial stability. Did you ever imagine this would be your life when you were in those dark places, man?
No.
Did you ever imagine that you would get out of this dark place? Did you?
No. And 2017, we came to Florida when I was in real estate and this gaming business. 2017, we brought the family down to Florida for 2 weeks. We're going to do Disney World. Never done it before. So we went all out, had a great time. And then 2021, we did it again for 2 weeks. And this will be the last time, won't be coming back here, But we loved it so much and business has been so good. I'm literally down here once a month. Like, I got people back home in Canada, like, you really go once a month to Disney? I'm like, wow, if I'm there, I might as well go. But, I'm building a business.
We think the annual pass is for.
That's exactly, yeah. But I've learned I'm going to live and I'm going to be happy. Wife's happy. I'm happy. My kids couldn't care less if they go to Disney World anymore. They got sick of it. That's okay. Like, they're old enough. They don't have to come. And honestly, they don't. But we're happy. And I've seen people save money, build up their big nest eggs, and die in their 50s and didn't do things. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be that person. We're building a real estate. We have real estate in Florida. We have real estate in Canada. We're building for a retirement so we can hand stuff down to our kids to a point. They'll never get everything.
Right.
They're going to have to build it for themselves.
Yeah.
Because my parents built up, didn't give me anything. They tried, but they didn't really have anything. And then my mom, when she passes, will have very little. Like, she has a bit of a nest egg, and she's like, "Oh, you use it whenever you want." I'm like, "Ma, that's your money. That's to keep you going. Yeah. I don't need your money."
Yeah.
My wife's parents gave her a vehicle when she graduated high school. That's it. You make your own way.
And a pat in the back.
And a pat on the back. They're very comfortable. They're only about 20 some years older than me. So literally by the time that, they pass, and I hope it's many, many years, we don't need anything.
Yeah.
Go to the grandkids, whatever they want to do with it. We don't.
Yeah, they can skip a generation and give it down to them.
Yeah. And so for our kids, we gave them the same mentality. For the kids, we bought each of them a vehicle. That's your only asset you're going to get from us. To start off with, you're going to get a vehicle, bought a new vehicle, but you got to plate it, you got to insure it, you got to keep it maintained. But it should last you a good 6 to 8 years in Canada before they start to fall apart. But by that time, you'll be established in your careers, whichever career you choose. But in order to get that, they had to work. So both kids worked for about 2 years before they ever got their license, before they ever got their cars. So, but they also understand they've saved up money.
Yeah.
They each work 25, 30 hours a week on top of schooling.
Top of school.
Because we want to value them in what they really need. So it kind of comes around to what got passed on to us, we pass on to them. They have to understand where things come from. You're not going to get that handout from us. You hit hard times, yeah, we're there to help you. But prove yourself. And well, again, kids are young, but so far they're,
They're on the path.
they're on the path. So I think they're learning that from us. My one kid thinks we're loaded. Far cry from it. Like, we do things because we want you to experience.
Yeah.
My parents, I said earlier, my dad was a truck driver. That's how I explored some of North America.
Yeah.
My mom has never flown. She's scared to fly, so we never went anywhere. My wife went to Disneyland twice with her family. That's it. We've taken our kids to Mexico 5 times, Florida 6, 8 times, Japan, Italy, Paris. We want to give them the experiences to remember, because you never know when we're going to be.
Yeah. And also build some well-rounded traveled adults.
Yeah, they're not scared. Well, my daughter, she wanted to go to Japan. She loved Japan. She's already planning her next trip by herself, because she goes, when can I go back? Well, when you're an adult. So when I'm 18, yeah.
I guess that makes you an adult.
Yeah, she goes, I'm going back next year. Okay. And she looked, really? You're paying for yourself, but
Yeah.
if that's what you want. So just putting it through their minds.
That's amazing. Now that we're talking about fatherhood, I want to dig into identity and fatherhood and values and morality and masculinity and purpose that we've been really, really talking a lot about purpose. I'll ask it in this way. Who's the man sitting here today? Not the officer that you used to be, or the patient that you once were, or, the dark moments or anything, but today, who sits in front of me?
Husband and father. I don't consider myself anything more than that. In real estate, I've got a couple of my team members call me boss. I said, no. I lead the team. You guys do the work. We're essentially equals. So I'm just a husband and father.
So you said to me, being a man you wrote this to me. You said, being a man means showing your wife and daughters what love, provision, and presence really looks like. Explain that philosophy to me.
That's being there for them. So when my youngest daughter was cheerleader, I'd go to the cheer competitions. The only time I ever missed a cheer competition was if I was with my other daughter, who was at a hockey game. The other daughter, when she played hockey, being there for all her sports. When they had something going on to show that I'm there. So my wife and I always make sure we are there. Because we felt that they should know. We'd seen kids that their parents don't come to everything.
Yeah.
I used to go to my daughter's hockey practice just to watch hockey practice. And this comes after with the PTSD, because I just love to absorb stuff. Until the point came, she goes, Dad, it's really weird. You're sitting up in the stands. There's nobody else up there. Can you stop coming to hockey practice? But I loved it. My oldest daughter's a hockey referee as well. I used to go watch her in her first year until she said, stop watching me. You're making me nervous. So then I had to sneak into the rink and watch from a distance because I did not want to miss that. She didn't understand it.
Yeah.
To now, she's 19 years old, and this just happened earlier today. Apparently she had a bad game last night where parents confronted her outside of the rink, and she really needed to talk to me, but because of the time change, she knew I was sleeping. So while I was driving down here, my wife had told me this. I'm like, I sent her a text. If you got time, call me. And she called me for 45 minutes. We just talked. She wants me to come watch her now. Like, whenever she does a game, can you come watch me? And once in a while we get to be on this ice at the same time and do a game together. And that's that brings a tear to my eye, because every time we do it, I do a social post, because I never know if it's going to be the last time, either because my time will run up, or she's going to go off to training for police and never know if we'll be in the same community again. But we haven't done a game together since August. And if you could see a beaming father, it's me out there. Just, she's not addressed as my daughter when we're out there. You know, we are complete equals. We're literally spitting images of each other in some aspects. Not that great for her because of this look, but for us to have that bond, you know, she's my oldest. We're very strong together. But when she says, "Can you come watch me?" It's all I ever wanted, right? Yeah. Just to, now that like my youngest is going to graduate here she's in her last year. Man, she's going to be moving away. They grow up so fast, right?
Yeah. In a blink of an eye.
In a blink of an eye. And my youngest is the complete opposite. No hugs, no high, like to get her to high five is like just no touch, like just emotionally, she talks, right? But she's just not that person. She, like, I can be gone for 2 weeks. She won't talk to me for 2 weeks. She won't care. To her, it's nothing. But my oldest, as she's been getting older now, she's starting to understand. So for me, it's just being there for the kids.
So something I like to ask fathers is, what do you think your kids see in you that you wish your younger self would have seen in you a lot sooner?
Well, my oldest one, I think, sees leadership. I didn't see leadership in me until I became a supervisor in the police force. My oldest daughter sees that. My youngest daughter, I literally don't know what, you know. Sometimes we will have a good conversation about nothing. Like nothing, or she'll tell me about this band she likes in Japan, which I have no idea, but like whatever, let her talk. Yeah. I don't know what she sees in me. The sad part is, I think she'd be sad if I was gone, but I don't know how much she'd miss me. I know that's really hard to say because she's my daughter, right? And I love her to death. Yeah. It's kind of funny. We were going over what we wanted for Christmas this year. You know, tell everyone what we want for Christmas and usually buy it. And my youngest daughter, I said to her, all I want is a hug. She goes, you're not getting that. I said, I don't want anything. I just want a hug. Because I grew up with, you know, you hug, you know, and things like that. So it doesn't have to be a fancy one. Just, that's all I want. Because she doesn't hug, right? And I missed that from when she was, you know, yay big. Yeah. My wife still, like, we still play videos of her when, you know, as she got older, she changed, and we still love her, but she's just different. I think they both look up. I think both kids look up to my wife and myself, you know. But I guess we'll find out is once they disappear. I joke, what's going to happen? I'm in a nursing home. How often are they going to visit me? Yeah. And then I look back and I'm like, man, I don't visit my mom very much. So,
so
it's
don't
like,
expect it.
So I'm not expecting it. So,
do you think that, like, the trauma that you went through made you a better father and husband?
Yes.
Why?
And I answered that so quickly. Because my kids were young. So they were 5 and 3 when, 6 and 4. They were 6 and 4 when my life fell apart. And I was working basically I was working shift work. I loved my job as a police officer. I'd be retiring this year if I would have stuck with it. But I don't know how much closer I would have been with them. So because my career changed to being a real estate agent, where I could adjust my hours as needed, I was there for their activities. You know, at school, when they needed to be picked up, I could be there for them. So I think I was a better father because my life fell apart. I just had to put up with almost a year of extreme hell to get there. To the point now where I'll come to Florida for a week to work with my team here, and I don't think I'm missing out on them back there because they're fine with just a phone call or a text, and they're not, Dad, I wish you were here.
Yeah.
Because if they told me, I wish you were home more, I'd be home more. I only leave because they don't seem to mind. Other than the one, my youngest will joke once a time, "Oh, you're finally at home." I'm like, okay. But
she seems like the spark, the sassy personality.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll jokingly give me the finger. She's 17 now, so I don't care. I was like, she'll joke about my little bit of a bald spot, that I'm old. But that's how we bond, is just by joking. And
that's I'm telling you right now, it's the one that loves you the most.
Yeah.
I'm letting you know.
And my oldest one, we could sit and have a conversation for hours. Just like my wife says, my oldest is a spitting image of me. Like, it's female, and that's the joke about the firstborn daughters tend to be like their dads. She's built solid like me. She played hockey the way I did. She refs hockey. Like, I didn't teach her how to ref hockey. She taught her, learned herself,
awesome.
Developed herself. I've just told her when she becomes a police officer, don't do what I did.
Big crime investigations, not traffic stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just, but I've also told her the mistakes I made when I dealt with some people to piss some people off. And I was a police officer, I'm like, okay, and she has that piss and vinegar. I'm like, okay, you gotta learn how to put the piss and vinegar away sometimes.
Yeah.
She's a spitting image of me.
So now that we know that the trauma, and this message is important for me to put out, because you were so quick to answer to the fact that trauma made you a better father and husband, which in my opinion means that the trauma made you a better man, right?
It did.
And so earlier today we were saying that the other police officers would not associate because you're trained to not associate with the weak.
Yep.
Knowing what you know today, and knowing the people that you know today, and knowing the experiences that you've had today, would you ever say that PTSD is a weakness?
No, it defines you. So, this is going to anger some people. But for those who took their lives, it exposed the weakness, that they may not have been strong to endure, but they could have if they would have had the support. It pushed me to the breaking point, and I had the choice at the breaking point. Either say, you're not getting me, I'm better than this, I can try to overcome this, I'll never overcome it, but I can fight this. And that's the route I took.
But it took you to the point. It took you to the point of, because the decision was, I can fight this and continue, or I can just end this right now.
Yes. Yeah, that's where it was. And those thoughts did cross my mind. And
There's a lot of these guys out there, a lot of these men, they're dealing with suicidal ideation, and the thought crosses their minds, but they're still here.
Yeah.
What kept you here other than your family? Was that it?
Never give up. Never give up. It was a training when I was a police officer.
That's right. We talked about that.
Yeah. Like, as much as it led me there, don't die. You fight until you die. And I will fight PTSD until I die, whether it's the body trembles and the heart stops. But I know I did everything
in your power,
in my power, to keep going. I'll never give up. And that's why the joke is I'll work until I die, unless I've got some type of really major income coming in that I really don't need to work. But
like, you hit the lottery for $600 million. I might buy a business and try to work it.
I'm gonna do something. I just might just have it on
Dude,
under
you
my
can
name.
ref every hockey game in the world you want
That's exactly like I'll go and do what I can
for
like,
free. Let's just have fun.
Well, it's funny because I reached out to some guys down in Fort Myers, said, need any refs for getting any games down there? Well, we don't pay mileage at Orlando. I don't care. You drive down here just to ref hockey game. Yeah. Okay, we'll get back to you. It's been 6 months, but I'm like, whatever, like, because I don't think they believe me. They're like, I don't care. I want to go out. I want to have fun.
Yeah.
That's my fun. Getting yelled at and cursed at and being called a piece of shit.
It's fun for you.
It's fun to me. Like,
so what? You earlier mentioned that without your family, you feel like you're nothing, right? You said it. If my wife wasn't in the picture, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today.
yeah.
How does that shape the decisions that you make today in your life?
I run everything through her. Like, so our condo that we bought in March of this year, I happened to be down in Florida in December of the previous year, just doing some setup stuff with my team. And I was in Jacksonville, and I joked with my wife, I'm like, hey, this thing is starting to pick up. I think this is going to work for us. Rather than paying these hotel bills, why don't we buy a place? We've got some money. Let's buy a place that then I have a place to go. We can Airbnb it, and it'll pay for itself. It doesn't pay for itself. Just throw that out there. And she's like, oh, okay. Like she's like, if you think that's something, she goes, yeah, I like Florida, Orlando. I go, okay. So I called up I call him my realtor. He's a real estate agent in Orlando that I've known for a couple of years, and said, hey, my wife and I have stayed in this one apartment complex several times. We actually like the design. There's a bunch of units for sale in there. Can you show them some to me one day? Yep, absolutely. So literally one day I drove down from Jacksonville to Orlando. We looked at 12 units in just one complex. Found one we liked. Offered on it that day. My wife wasn't even down. She trusted me. Offered on it, and 4 months later we closed on it. A little longer process being international, but we got it done.
Yeah.
But I run big purchases by her. Small stuff like electronics I just buy myself, and she yells at me after. But we recently bought a vehicle in Florida, and it was everything with her, like just running.
Just going through the whole process with her.
Yeah, she got to pick the color. She got to pick the kind of vehicle. The company bought it. But it's all joint decisions,
Yeah.
And even when I come down here to work with my team, like, hey, I'm coming down in December. I'd like to do, why don't I go down for a week, and then why don't you come down for the other week? I'll be there for 2, and we'll have some fun. She goes, okay. Then I booked the flights.
Very cool.
So yeah,
What about your daughters? Like, what values do you hope that they pick up and take into adulthood?
Just hard work and to enjoy life. That's one thing I didn't. Not saying I didn't enjoy life when I was younger, but I worked a lot of paychecks to paychecks, not saving for the future. My parents didn't teach me about real estate. I know now that I could have bought a house when I was 22 years old making shit money in radio. But I didn't, because nobody taught me anything. Nobody showed me anything. I didn't buy my first house till I was 30.
Wow.
And I would be so far ahead now if I would have, but I didn't. So that's something we're instilling in them, is that when they get in the workforce, that they will buy a little condo, something small. It gets you somewhere. And so far, even though they're not there yet, they're like, yeah, we want to do that.
That's solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. Stuff that my parents didn't tell me.
Yeah. And maybe just because they didn't know.
Honestly, it comes a lot to they didn't know.
You know it. You work it every day now. It's like different.
I do. And my mom sheltered me a lot as a child. Like when I turned 18 and moved away from home, I told you I grew up in a small town. I lived in a bubble. I literally lived in a bubble.
Yeah.
Like there was music I was listening to. I'm like, never heard of this. And it was 20 years old. It was country and country only in my house.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we didn't do that with our kids. With our kids, it was keeping everything
wide open.
Yeah, like I say, one kid played hockey, another kid cheerleads. I played hockey. My wife watched hockey.
What a wild separation difference between the two, though.
And cheerleading had no relation to anything that my wife did or me, or we're like,
It's just what she enjoyed.
yep, okay. Well, she doesn't do it anymore, but it's like,
My kids went from cheer to volleyball.
oh, okay.
Girls volleyball. Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. Hey guys, real quick. If you're in real estate and you're thinking about growing your business, I want to personally invite you to connect with me at davidadamkurz.com. Everything I've built is designed to help agents do one thing: make more money, the triple M. I lead a powerful real estate organization at LPT Realty, and my team is growing fast across the country. And if you're looking for leadership, support, systems, and a high-producing community, come talk to us. I'm also scaling New World Title, one of the fastest growing title companies in the country. If you're a realtor looking for a title partner that actually supports your business, we've built something special. And through PRMG, we've opened incredible mortgage opportunities for agents who want to earn more, leverage more, and put themselves in a position to win financially. All three companies align for one mission: help agents make money and build real estate businesses with real support. If you want to learn more, go to davidadamkurz.com or send me a DM on any social media. I'd love to connect with you and see how we can help you grow. All right, guys, let's get back to the show. All right, so you said you no longer hide anything, that technology is all showing, and so therefore, as men, we shouldn't really be hiding these things, and we should live honestly. What freed you up to really start telling your story?
like the PTSD.
Yeah.
For example. Yeah. So I was ashamed of it for the first few years. Didn't tell many people about it. Then the odd person would ask me some questions. I'm sorry, and then right away, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, I'll talk about it. But the more I talked about it, I felt it healed me.
Okay.
It was healing to share the story. And then I started testing a few little pieces out on social media about it, and then people were really opening up to understanding. Sorry, not understanding, but seeing that you really deal with that. We don't see that.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, no, because you can have this and still be a fully functional person. To the point where I've been ridiculed. Actually, in the last month, I've been posting a little bit more about PTSD. I've been ridiculed by some trolls, we'll put it there.
I heard online telling you to suck it up.
Yeah,
things
exactly.
of that nature.
And I'm like, 10 years ago, probably would have thrown me over the edge.
Yeah.
And I'd have been done in for.
Yeah.
Now, I go in harder. Like, okay, no.
So you're processing this negative
yeah.
Connotation and comments towards you by going in even more.
Yeah, because to me, they're the problem. They don't understand. And, well, yourself, Travis, myself last month, just sharing with each other about what we deal with, it's very similar, but all different experiences.
Yeah.
And we've all seen different things. But if somebody doesn't understand that, they won't understand. They won't know. But I also understand there's a lot of people out there that are still holding back. They're not sharing. They're keeping everything trapped in. And I've learned the more I trapped inside, the worse it got.
The worse it gets.
So I just open up. So when I have a trigger, I'll tell people I had a trigger. Because it actually heals me.
Yeah.
I don't care if there's likes or comments. That's not what social media is about. Sharing.
Not what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to share.
Yeah.
If you don't like that I'm wearing a Mickey hat, I don't give a shit. I used to.
It makes you feel good.
That's right. Like my wife would be like, really? Like I bought a hat in Tokyo. She goes, when are you going to wear that again? In Orlando? Are you serious? I'm going to prove you right. Or I'm going to prove myself right and prove you wrong. I am wearing it. The older, and I found this out with older people when I was young. Like, old people didn't care what they looked like. And I'm starting to get to the point where I don't care what people think anymore.
Yeah.
Like for people, if they don't want to work with me.
Yeah.
You don't want to work with me because I had PTSD or I like Disney or I spend time in Florida. That's okay.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Like I'll find somebody else who did or who does. I don't need to gravitate towards everybody, but that also comes to the point of I'm not saying I'm successful, but I do well in my business.
Yeah.
Where I tell my team members who, when they don't get a listing, if somebody doesn't like, I said, don't worry about it. You'll find somebody else. And like, well, it's easy for you to say you've got lots of business. I said, you're right. But it wasn't until I set my standards did people actually start coming towards me.
Yeah.
So I just recently had somebody argue about commission rates with me. And I said, that's what my rates are, and this is why. And I showed them, oh, okay, well, we didn't want to argue with, we just wanted, like, no, you tried. I said, you tried to get it lower, that's fine. You asked. But this is why I charge what I do.
Yeah.
And they understood. Prove your value.
Yeah. People will pay for value.
Absolutely. And if they don't want to, somebody else will take you.
What do you want people, especially men, to know and understand about PTSD?
You're not alone. You are not alone. You might think you're alone. But your experience, my experience, Travis's, I just use those three for example. We're all different, but we all can relate. So whether it's car crashes, deaths, any type of traumatizing incident, just talking about it will help. But it's easier I think it's easier to talk to somebody who's experienced it. So psychologists may not be always the best. They'll be able to guide you through it, but they might not be the one who can get you through it.
Right.
But somebody who has been through it, who has seen the dark side, who was on the cliff, who knew how to turn back.
That's different.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation to be had.
Yeah.
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 So you said, you wrote me a powerful message. You said, fuck what anybody else thinks. You live for yourself. You live for your family. Explain that mindset to me. Because we're in it right now. You're saying it like you're online. Yep. You're posting things. And it's like, there's going to be people out there that don't understand. They don't get it.
And they won't care.
Yeah.
You have one life.
That's right.
Live it so you are happy. It doesn't matter, even if your parents don't approve of what you're doing, it's your life.
You get this one chance.
Yep. You have to be happy. So my first several decades as an adult was there to, I use the term stay alive, to pay the bills, and then you get stuck in that cycle of it's the same thing and what's going to happen when I retire.
Right.
To also, I look at it where I don't want to wait till I'm 65 to travel somewhere because then I'm going to be too old.
Yeah.
Where I want to be happy now. I have also seen young people pass away natural causes. They had everything going for them in the world, but the ticker stopped.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
And I'm like, nope. If I can afford to make memories with my kids, taking them to Europe, then I did.
I'm going to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah. If you can't do that, but you can make memories else, do it. Because I'm happy. And I'll use, for example, even coming to Florida. I told you yesterday when I flew out of Edmonton, it was cold. It was minus 23 Fahrenheit.
Ooh.
So, but that's not even as cold as we usually get, but I was cold. When I came here and I see the green and I feel the warmth, I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's not home.
But it's happy.
But it's happy. And then driving out of Miami, and before I jumped over here, I was over at South Beach because I was there last year and it was fun. I might have only been there for 30 minutes this time, but I'm like, yeah, I like it. Don't want to live here, but
yeah,
I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I wasn't, other than my family, I wasn't happy, love my surroundings. It was just, I got to work. And I would work 50 weeks a year. And I still work 50 weeks a year, but I have fun in those 50 weeks too.
Yeah. All right. So I'll make a statement and you tell me your thoughts on this statement. A man specifically taking care of himself and taking care of his mental health is not selfish.
Not at all.
Thoughts?
Not at all. You got to take care of yourself. before anybody else. Otherwise, you're a burden on them. Again, that's my opinion. You're a burden. Physical health is one thing, and I'm still working on that part. I've done some stuff, but I never understood mental health until I snapped and I collapsed. Then I started to understand over these past 12 years how important mental health is, which is why I advocate for people who have PTSD. Not saying I only advocate for them, but I can relate to them. So if I can't really relate to it, it's like snake oil. I can't tell you what's right or wrong unless I can relate to it. Even describing how a trigger makes me feel and what it does doesn't hurt. It just sucks when I can't control what the body's doing. If you can't take care of your own mental health,
you also become a burden on your family rather than an asset.
Yeah.
Because now your family has to take care of you rather than the other way around. And I think, I say this often, even biblically, the man was created to take care of the land, to take care of the family, right? And the family was, the woman was, biblically at least, designed to support that person. And then the family unit was designed to pass those things down, and when you become a burden to your family unit, that becomes a bigger problem than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. My dad worked. He kind of retired maybe 2 years before he passed away, but he was still always doing something a little bit, because I felt he always had to do something, which is probably what I'll end up doing.
Yeah.
And then he passed away in his sleep, which was honestly probably the best way that he ever could have went.
Wow.
So he didn't see it coming.
That's how I want to go.
Yeah. For me, like we talked about earlier, when I collapsed and my life was gone to shit, one of the first things I thought is, how am I going to take care of my family?
Yeah.
Because I was raised that you take care of your family.
Yeah.
And it's different when it was just by myself or just myself and my wife, but now I got 2 kids, it's
knowing that for the man who is watching right now that feels like he's failing his family, what's your message to him?
Ask for help and don't be shy. If you ask for help and someone turns a blind eye to you, fuck them. And never speak to that person again. I don't care if it's family, then they're not there to ever support you. My dad was raised where you're tough. You don't share your feelings. So my dad didn't share. I'm sure my dad died with a lot of demons that I didn't know about. We tell our kids everything.
Yeah.
We've changed. I'm soft. I cry.
It says I'm soft.
Yeah. I listen to Taylor Swift. My wife just laughs at me for that, so that's going to go off somewhere else. But
that's a whole different level of soft.
I know that's what it is. Look what this has done to me. Not religiously. I'm just saying I don't listen to it religiously. But yeah, find someone to share. There's different groups to help with support. But if you don't want to talk in a group, one-on-one, closed door.
Yeah.
Honestly, you can go. See, I guess the reason I can really relate to that is because being a police officer, I have a vault. We were trained. You get told something, it goes in the vault, it stays in the vault. Yeah. I still live by that. In my community, I still know shit about people that others don't, and they wouldn't want to know. But it stays in the vault. So for me, if I've talked with anybody about, specifics about their PTSD, it doesn't come out. Nobody needs to know that. Not even my wife. you need someone to talk to just to get it off the chest, that's where I am. And I've had people reach out online, even just texting. Yeah, that's what you wanted, just to get it out. It feels better to talk. And I learned that through my psychologist when I was dealing with the shit. And again, without her, I probably wouldn't be here either. Like she saved me.
That's wild. Yeah. So definitely you're suggesting ask for help. Like just reach out and ask for help, whatever it is. Yeah. Psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, group therapy, whatever. I mean, I would even say, go as far as saying, like, maybe you don't want to speak in a group, but maybe it helps you to listen in a group. Oh. You know, because no one's going to force you to talk. Like, it's not like you show up and they go, all right, man, you signed in. So, like, you drank coffee, you better spit it out, you know?
Yeah, I think even just listening to someone share. And that's what my goal has been with the social media. When I share inspirational quotes that I'll see online, or I'll share my experiences, it's the hope that somebody who sees it won't take that last step to end their life. Yeah. And I don't need to know that they didn't because of it. Just don't. And if I don't need to know that. I don't need self-gratification that I helped somebody else out. I didn't need that when I was a police officer. It was just for this, if it helps them get through the next step, great.
It's 100% why we built this show.
Yeah, then it worked.
It's 100% why we built this podcast. We can get more men like you coming out here to talk about this subject that is so not manly to talk about, you know, then other men will hear it. And maybe they, listen, maybe somebody's listening to the show that's never going to open up to someone. But because of this conversation and them listening to your story, it creates a shift in their life. Mm-hmm. Maybe they search for more stories. Maybe they YouTube repair. You know, so be it, right?
That's actually a really good analogy to put it, with the YouTube repair, because if I'd have asked for help earlier on, before I didn't even know what was happening to me, right? But if I would picked up the triggers that were happening, my life would be in a different position. Maybe it would be better. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But I took the worst part of my life and I turned my life around and went a completely different direction.
Yeah.
To the point where my family is happy. I'm happy. I met some great people along my journey, and I know there's a lot more people to be met further on, because you never know who's around the corner.
Yeah.
But you only have one life. You make the most of it.
Would that be your, I feel like that's supposed to be your final, statement to everyone. You only have one life. You have a decision. You have the ability to choose how you want to live that life.
And I've seen that in motivational speeches actually quite a bit. You only have one life. Yeah. So make it, everything that you want it to be.
Make it worth it.
Yeah. You might not be able to do everything you want to do in life. Maybe there'll be some restrictions you can't get to, but if you're happy, and that's what my wife and myself have been able to build, is something that makes us happy.
Yeah.
Because if I was to die tomorrow, I know I lived to the best that I could, and I did everything for my family that I could. If I would have passed away sitting on my couch, drooling like a vegetable, I would have felt my life was worthless.
Ooh. And if there's an afterlife and you got to look back at that, I'm first to say I'm glad you're here and I'm glad we met. And I'm glad that you got to walk through your fire, and I'm extremely grateful for you sharing here with us today. It means the world to me, and I'm sure that it's going to mean the world to hopefully thousands of people who listen to this.
Well, thanks for opening the platform. When you talked to me about this, it resonated immediately. Yeah, immediately. Like,
Yeah.
and I think I reached out as soon as you told me. Like, yep, I'm going to be here this date.
Let's do it.
If you can do it, I will open up 100%.
That is awesome. Well, man, your story is a testament to why Forged into Fire was created. So I really, really appreciate that. We like to say the fire doesn't destroy you, it defines you. You know, we often say, or every show we say it, forged by pain, tempered by faith, right? Built for purpose, because that's what we are, you know, and no one's life is easy. I know there's plenty of people out there that think that they look at someone else and they go, oh, that guy's life is just solid. It's a gem. It's so easy. No one knows what's happening underneath the skin. No one knows what's happening at the core of someone else's life. I don't know where I heard this, but ever since I heard it, I've said it to 1,000 people, and I'll continue to say it. Never compare what's going on inside of you to what's going on outside somebody else.
That's right.
Right? Because you could see only what people show you, and it's never going to be exactly what they're going through ever, right? And you got to walk through the darkness. You got to walk through the fire, and you recovered from it. And you continue to fight the battle. It's not over, and it may never be over. You said it yourself, because I asked you, when do you think, what do you think you need in your life so that this goes away? And you said, it may never go away, which means this is a lifelong battle. You'll be 85 years old and triggers will still happen, right? You lost your career, you lost your confidence, your identity, and you rebuilt it all from ashes, man. And that's huge. And that's the message that I really want to share with people, because I need people to know, like you mentioned, they're not alone. There are plenty of groups or people or professionals out there that can and will help. And if it's important to you to find one that suffers from PTSD, ask the question, right? If you meet a psychiatrist and you look at that psychiatrist and go, do you have PTSD? And they go, no, then maybe that's not the person for you. I'm just saying.
Yep.
If that's one of your requirements, because also you mentioned that, you know, it's always more helpful when you talk to somebody that has been down the PTSD road when you're battling PTSD, you know? So, you know, definitely you're not the man you were before. You're a brand new man. But you're a hell of a family man from what I see. You know, your wife, God bless her, because she's been around for the whole battle, and now she works with you every single day. 24/7, she's there going through the whole thing. So you're obviously a husband who leads in a very positive light. You're a father who shows up. You know, you talked about making sure you're sneaking into the arena to see your daughter in action. You know, a businessman who's continuing to build. And by the way, something a lot of people don't understand, as entrepreneurs, as you build your business, you'll be affecting the lives of other people. And you'll be creating an opportunity for other people, other men and women, to support their family members and to do great jobs. You no longer hide from the truth. You put it out there for people to listen to, and you refuse to let men drown in silence. And I love that about you, because that to me, again, is the epitome of why we put this together. How many lives can we affect? How many lives can we change? How many lives can we save, maybe? I don't know. And we will never know. And we're not looking for the numbers. We're not trying to, you know, there'll never be a time where I try to go to somebody and go, these are our stats. Look how many lives we saved. Like, that's not it. That's not why we're doing this. So to every man watching out there, like, this is proof. David is proof that it can be done, that when your mind betrays you, even when the world collapses, even when it feels like it's the end, you're failing your family, you can rise, you can rebuild, you can recreate, you can reclaim your purpose. So I invite everybody to remember the mantra. Again, pain reveals you, pressure builds you, purpose defines you. That's why this show exists. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of Forged into Man. I'm David Adam Kurz. Man, we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, David, for doing this with me. Every man has a story. Some hide it, some bury it. But when you share it, it becomes the torch for someone else's path. Remember, the fire doesn't burn to break you, it burns to build you. If today's conversation moved you, share it. And if you're in the middle of your own fire, keep walking. You are not alone. This is Forged into Man. I'm David Adam Kurz. Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and stay forged.